Hey guys, it's Dinkledork here, and today I'm doing a bit of an informal video. I wanted to take a moment to sort of talk about what I have planned for the future, what I'm working on now, and where I really hope to be. This last week I've actually been pretty sick, so I haven't been as active on YouTube as I'd like to be. But that said, it's given me plenty of opportunities to do stuff in game and get caught up on some of the development that I wanted to do for so long. One of the things about being on YouTube is that oftentimes you don't get to do as much development as you want because you're busy making these videos. I enjoy both, absolutely. The biggest thing for me is I really just want to give back to the community who has given so much to me. So I figured I could share what little knowledge I've gained in the process that I've taken. Probably sometime by the end of next month, I really want to get a repack out there for people because people have been asking me if I'm going to make one. The answer is yes, I just don't know when, and it will contain custom content, although I'll make a lot of it optional so you don't actually have to do it if you don't want to. That said, class changes will still be customized, so just keep that in mind. Don't worry though, I'll do my best to keep things balanced and enjoyable without taking anything away that people already enjoy. So if you'll notice on my last few videos, I've actually been making a couple scripts, I guess you could say, to have bosses attack cities. I started out with Kazakh, then moved on to Azerothcore, and now I'm here in my Azerothcore server doing more custom events. I gotta say that creating custom events has been a wild ride, and I've learned a lot of great things in the process, especially when it comes to Lua. I know people are talking a lot about OpenChat GPT recently, and I don't really want to jump on that bandwagon, but at the same time, it's been extremely helpful for me the last couple of weeks when it comes to learning more about Lua and C++. Anyway, the motivation for a lot of those events was because I really wanted to create a progressive realm where you go through each expansion. But on top of the progressive realm, I also wanted to tie the 3 expansions together. And I figured one of the good ways to do that would be through the Ashbringer. And of course, that means having a larger presence with the Lich King. I was a big fan of the Legion Invasion events, but I wasn't such a big fan of the original Scourge events back in Classic. I felt it was like just basically running around and attacking random undead that really had no consequence on anything in the world. And so basically this is me combining Legion invasions with the world boss invading capital cities sort of feel to it. So when I first started this event, I knew the sort of direction that I wanted to go, but I didn't know exactly how to get there. I knew I'd have to create a lot of waypoints for different creatures, and at the time I didn't really know how to string them together as much, but I also knew that I wanted to have some more chaotic elements to it rather than anything that was organized, so I was totally fine with not stringing together a lot of the NPCs. But I'm going to go ahead and start the Scourge event just so I can run you through the process I had. So the first thing I started with was a big boss, and I wanted to go with Patchwork, but I decided it would probably be better to go with sort of an offshoot of Patchwork, and so that's why I came up with Patchquark. Obviously, this is the boss element of the game. Maybe I should turn on my GM. Anyway, this was very much the world boss element of having creatures attack the city. Originally, the Venom Belchers and the Patchwork Horrors were not attached to his path, but I did that more recently just to kind of give him a more menacing presence, I guess you could say. I also planted a lot of Scourge outside, just so that you'd have the feel of an ongoing battle. And obviously a lot of these Scourge will actually make it through, but the purpose of Patchwork is really just to break through the amount of Stormwind guards and whatnot that I have lined up. It's basically the hammer in the whole process. So I do have plans to actually tie a lot of these events to quests, but for right now I just wanted to make sure that they're set up properly. You'll notice that the lightning coming in from the sky, that was actually intentional because Naxxramas is up in the sky, so I figured it would be nice to have a certain effect for them teleporting down to the ground, right? The other thing too is I was actually looking for them to mask the level up effect, right? So obviously there's a couple things I still need to work out, but I was getting really annoyed by having mobs appear with the ding effect. And so he's shooting out acid now. That's funny. So I gave him the acid effect because I really like the Shadow Bolt Volley effect that Kazakh has, because it ends up pulling a lot more things to it and engaging other things in combat. So yeah. So one of the big challenges here was creating a sort of event where not everything was going to get grouped up, and obviously some of that can't be helped, so you'll see that they'll all attack roughly the same creature, but when they are done attacking, they'll go back to their various waypoints. In this process, I actually made about 2,000 waypoints. I would say most of them have about 150 waypoints at minimum. And the result's actually pretty good. I do have this one group of blighted zombies that is linked together. I might actually split them up into 2 groups. But for right now I just have them in one large group as well. So yeah, one of the things that I did to sort of break up the hordes of creatures, I guess you would say, was to give each mob a different speed for running and walking. I also, if you noticed, split a lot of them down the left and the right, just to give them a bit more places to run and whatnot. Still working on certain points. I'll probably move these Stormwind City Guards back over here, because they have a tendency to get bunched up on those sides right there. The other thing that I've implemented as well is this NPC that you can talk to receive various buffs. Basically, you get the King's Blessing, which all stats increased by 20% and damage reduced by 35%. Damage received, right? And then I have another option for the Soul Stone. I'm actually going to make this a 2-hour buff. And it is something that disappears when you die, but I kind of did that intentionally because I wanted players to keep having to come back to receive blessings, essentially. Also throughout the city are various ghouls that you'll see. A lot of them I need to still set to random movement. And these are basically just get in the way of any players that are coming through. You'll notice them in various shops. I went ahead and changed the faction of a lot of the NPCs here so that they can actually die. It made certain NPCs attackable. A lot of that is to just incentivize players to participate. And again, they have different routes, so some of the Scourge will go this way, and they'll visit this part of the city. And I have Stormwind Guards placed at various junctures. Again, with the random ghouls that I have lying around as well. For some reason it doesn't seem like any of them have random movements, so I guess I'll go fix that. The ultimate goal for most of the Scourge is to actually make it to the King's Room and either kill Prince Anduin or, you know, the King, depending on what phase of the server that you're in. So if you're on an earlier phase, you actually won't see the King, but if you're in a later phase, you will. So most of the Scourge that actually make it through end up making it through over on this side of the map. As you can see, there's a huge group of them moving toward the Castle Keep now. Eventually I'd like to create additional waves of Scourge that come through. I just have to time it a little bit better. Currently the Stormwind Guards are set to respawn at 3 minutes, whereas the Scourge are set to respawn at 30 seconds, so there's a bit of a discrepancy there. Patchwork actually probably has too much health right now, but I can fix that later, so I'm not really worried about it. 800,000 health is basically the target that I want to be at. All these Stormwind Guards are spawned in for this event. For right now, as you can see, I can actually see King Varian Rin, but right now I've got Lady Katrina and High Lord Bolvar. So High Lord Bolvar actually has less health than Patchwork currently. That said, I think Bolvar actually ends up doing more damage still. If you paid attention to my video, he actually cleaned up the mobs really well. So Patchwork is actually a level 63 boss. And he has various yells that he can choose through as well. I believe he has, well, let me see if I can show you guys. So yeah, basically he has a number of dialogue options depending on whether he's engaged in combat, left combat, or died. So this took quite a bit of time, and it looks like the set max health, I accidentally added an additional 6 where I wasn't supposed to, so I'll just go ahead and save that now. So I think in this case, Bolvar might actually end up dying, but typically speaking he won't. I'm trying to decide which way I really want to go with that. Do I want to have Patchwork win and then move on, because I currently have a waypoint path set for other parts of the city as well, and then he'll despawn after a while. So I'm probably going to add him as a level 60 quest for players to kill, and maybe attach some loot to him as well. Maybe I'll do some wings. What do you guys think? So one of the things I probably didn't mention to you guys is that yes, my repack will contain these custom wings, and people will actually have to use the client files that I do, or at least some of the client files. So another thing, I'm just going to restart the event real quick. So when I stop the event, everything disappears, correct? And when I start it, the various NPCs will also come into place. So I have a lot of NPCs with various yell options currently. Let me see if I can show you again. And so these guys on the mounts actually have about 12 different dialogue options. A lot of them you can actually see. When the event starts, you'll usually see a worldwide warning go out saying that Lich King has sent forth his forces to attack the people of Azeroth, so quickly adventurers defend your cities. And that fresh bread, that guy who sells fresh bread is really dedicated. So you'll notice with the Stormwind Guards that I actually have them in active combat position. This is to obviously heighten the tension. Not all the Stormwind Guards will be that way, but a lot of them will be. They're all level 63, and they also have a cleave ability to help them basically take care of the various amounts of Scourge attacking. I'm trying to strike a careful balance between allowing them to kill everything on the field so that they're constantly just attacking various things, because I really want, again, to attach quests to this event. And some of that will involve helping out various Stormwind Guards, maybe healing them, maybe helping kill some of the mobs, or maybe even just running messages to various other towns. But yeah, so the big purpose of Patchwork is actually to break through the front lines, and so I'll probably end up increasing the damage of Stormwind Guards a little bit. This was by no means easy. A lot of it just was me running around and placing waypoints for each individual NPC. Again, I wanted to have that chaotic feel of Scourge, so to speak. So feel that sometimes when you group up mobs, it feels too organized and takes away from the realism. I have the Scourge event set to go off once a day currently, but once I release it on the repack, it will probably be maybe once every 5 days. Anyways, that's about it for Stormwind for now. One other thing that you'll also notice is I ended up actually creating a resurrection effect for the Stormwind guards. I thought it was very appropriate. It makes a bold statement. It's really hard to miss if you are a player in the zone. Next, I kind of want to visit some of the other areas that I have Scourge in. So we're going to take a quick trip to Westfall. Like I said, a lot of these custom options are going to be actually tied to a world event that you can turn on and off. It's going to be server event start number 91. And one of the mobs that I have attached to that is going to be the Foe Reaper 9001 because he was so popular. Figured I'd bring him back to Azerothcore. So he has come back. He's come back with new abilities, and he also has a greater patrol range that's more complex. So that'll be fun for new people coming into the zone for the first time. You'll notice that there's also some additional things yelling in the chat. One of them saying, "The Master will have your guts." That is an on-combat event that has a certain rare yelling each time they kill something. I'll probably add more dialogue options for that. So one of the events is to come out and find some of these rares or harder to defeat monsters, I guess you could say, for the quest. So this guy has an AoE stun and knockback, making him a little bit more challenging. I'll probably increase his health a little bit. He's level 20. I'm currently level 27, so again, his respawn time is like 30 seconds, so I'm not too worried about people vying to kill him. So in Westfall, I also have various ghouls attacking random things. I'm not sure why these got reset and didn't end up keeping their random movement, but a lot of them will spawn in the graveyards. And they'll continue to respawn and attack Sentinel Hill as well as other members. I'll more than likely be adding additional guards to this area just because I want there to be a constant battle. Roads, I also have a few ghouls that are running back and forth. That looks like they killed all the woodworkers. And you're just standing there doing nothing. I increase your aggro radius then. So yeah, there. I went ahead and added another militia person, I guess. And perhaps I'll add one up here as well. Either that, or I can increase the waypoints for these guys. I'd say probably the most difficult thing is striking a balance between setting the tone and actually having fun events, as well as causing a disruption. So yeah, I always feel like the more disruption the better, but that's just me. I know a lot of people really don't like that, but I'm of the opinion that if the world is more dangerous, then things will be just better overall, right? Now, Scourge will actually attack anything in their path, including wildlife, which, again, I think is appropriate since they are supposed to be bloodthirsty minions of the Lich King. And then the Undead Warlord I'm going to have, and I'll probably have additional minions fall in behind him. Although the minions currently will patrol through Redridge, kill everything, and then patrol around, circle around. Some of them will actually circle back to Darkshire, so yeah. Also plan on creating a couple more random spawns, maybe to wander around a bit. What would really suck is if you were doing the escort quest and a couple of ghouls or something spawned over here and couldn't complete the quest because you were being harassed by them. Again, I'll probably attach a quest to the Undead Warlord and the minions to make it so that you have to kill them. So for the lower level zones, I really don't have a whole lot planned. It's just there. But I want to at least get a start on things so that I have basically a wide pool to work with so that I can go deeper later on. Undead Warlord is actually scripted to have a number of yells. And I'll go ahead and pull him just so you know kind of what to expect. So he has a fear attack. It's one of his abilities. And the other ability is actually a Shadow Strike that hits a random target, so definitely not easy. Again, I'm level 27, he's level 30, but I feel like it shouldn't be easy, right? So, yeah. Looks like pretty much my whole group is dead. That's a good thing. I always like it when things are challenging, so. But yeah, that's pretty much it currently for the events. Again, I plan on doing similar things on the Horde side. We'll be adding more Scourge to various zones, as well as building on top of what I've already made. I'm likely going to have to create more guards as well if I want to create more Scourge, otherwise they'll end up running out of targets to attack, so that'll be a fun project. I've already gone ahead and started working on some other holiday events as well. One of them, of course, is the Grinch boss. I'd like to create something for every occasion. Probably something for Brewfest, something for Hallows End, things like that. Anyway, this is basically the Scourge Invasion for now. I'll likely add elements of the original Scourge Invasion as well, just to give players things to attack that aren't just attacking the city, but out in the open as well. It just never made sense to me to have a bunch of random undead spawn in from the sky out in the middle of nowhere and just grouped up around a crystal. That never really made sense to me, so this honestly makes a whole lot more sense. Obviously this is going to be a long-term project and a bit slower than a normal developer would be just because I'm learning a lot of things along the way. But yeah, this is actually pretty fun for me. It looks like I had to add this guy to the list of mobs that are supposed to get lasered in. This script is actually kind of fun because I'm able to set the max level and health of various mobs within the event as well, so that's kind of fun. Although it's probably going to be better if you use auto-tune for that purpose. So I'll likely be creating more videos going forward, but I really want to make sure that I'm staying on top of developing an enjoyable experience and creating something that I myself would enjoy. I would also like to actually have a capstone event at the end of the classic expansion where the Lich King makes an appearance and has to fight our heroes. Of course, the heroes end up losing and he retreats. I think that'd be fun. As for the Outlands, it's going to be a little bit of a more difficult iteration. Do you plan on picking up basically where Grand Inquisitor Fairbanks was hinting at where you should go, which is somewhere in Outlands, to find Mograine's son? I'll make this a quest line not just for people who have Ashbringer, but those who are just interested in doing the storyline as well. Implementation in Outland is going to be a little bit more tricky when it comes to random attacks, so I'll have to build up the backstory there, as maybe the Lich King trying to create another foothold for him to retreat to should he have the need to do so. Anyway, it's a large work in progress, but it should go quickly if I just chip at it every day. Anyway, that's about it. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys on the other side of Azeroth.